forward to our work session with you?
Yeah, I think it's got good. Everyone's got some next steps.
I'm not even looking yet.
So I don't know where we're getting at. Yeah, we're supposed to have one at least. We're still getting feedback. Yep. Hello?
What makes all this along with
Hello? Okay. Good morning. The May 15th, 2024 meeting of the Charter Authorizing Panel is called to order. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Department of Education and ask that you please silence all your electronic devices. The goal is to facilitate a fair and responsible hearing, so therefore I ask that each person speaking please state your name and title for the record. I ask that you continue to speak clearly in the microphone throughout your presentation for the benefit of the panel, this audience, and the viewing audience. This meeting is being live streamed and recorded, and a transcript of the meeting will be posted on the DESE website. All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Morning, panel members. Good morning. All right. So we have a consent agenda before you today. Are there any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
So a second? All right. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. All right, Mr. Reynolds, if you'll come forward to review the procedures.
Good morning.
Morning.
Stephen Reynolds, staff attorney for the department. I'll just go over the hearing procedures real quick. Dr. Sutherland, you'll want to swear in all the parties except for attorneys that are going to be giving testimony today. The applicants will then have 20 minutes to present. To my knowledge, there's no opposition for any of the applicants, so after the charter's presentations, you all can move into questions. All parties, please state your name before you speak, even if you've talked before, so that we can have a clear record. Any community members or community partners that are here to speak on behalf of the applicant will need to speak during the 20 minutes. Any elected officials that are here can speak before the hearing, during the 20 minutes, or at the conclusion of all the testimony. That's up to the official and the applicant how they want to move forward. Following the presentations, we'll go through any legal concerns and waivers, allow the charter to opportunity to give you guys more information about how they're using their waivers and any remaining concerns out of legal concerns.
All right, thank you very much.
Yep.
Ms. Summons?
Good morning, Dory Summons, DESE Charter Office. Hope Academy of Northwest Arkansas is requesting a waiver of Arkansas Code 610-106A1A, which is the uniform dates for beginning and end of school year. We also have Ms. Katie Drake, who is on the Zoom, and she'll be representing that school.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Drake, if you'll raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony, I think you may need to unmute. I guess I should have told you that first, huh? Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. You can begin.
I don't have a presentation today, but Hope Academy of Northwest Arkansas every year attempts to align with our local district calendars. The majority of our students come from our surrounding districts, primarily from Bentonville Public Schools, from that district area. And so we attempt to align with their calendar. This year, Bentonville has requested to begin school the week of the 14th, which requires us to request a charter amendment in order to be able to align with those dates. Aligning serves our families well because many of them have other children who attend our other local public schools. Many schools in our areas have requested that they be allowed to start the week of the 14th. And so in an attempt to serve our families well as our students, we are requesting to do the same.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Mr. Baldwin?
So this is really not a question on your program, but why is Bentonville starting earlier? I'm just curious about that.
I'm not sure why our surrounding schools are starting earlier, to be honest. I think that I know that our local summer school options, our summer program options often end in early August. And so that leaves a gap for families to be able to, that they have to fill between that time and school starting. And so I think between that, as well as them seeing the opportunity to have more in-school days prior to state testing, I'm not sure also, I believe that there may be sports schedules that align better by starting a week earlier. And so those things have required our large public school districts around us to want to start earlier, a desire to start earlier, and therefore we would like to also start earlier.
Any other questions?
I'd just like to piggyback on what Mr. Baldwin just shared in regards to the feedback that you received from family members in this change. I know that you started off originally with a set schedule, but with this change, you did speak to the fact that some of the parents were in favor of that. But if you can give a little bit more detail in regards to that kind of feedback in regards to making that change, any kind of evidence that spoke to, from a numerical perspective, what kind of support they'd have in making this change.
I can't hear you well. I'm sorry. Are you asking about the parent feedback, like family feedback?
Yes, absolutely. Sorry about that.
Sorry. So our families, we did not collect specific family feedback, but what we know about the available options in our community is that our summer programs will align with our local public schools as best they can. Our local public schools, if they're going to start earlier, that's going to allow our summer programs to be out earlier. We know that's going to leave a gap for our families, as well as knowing that not being on the same calendar, we have over our 4 years, we've experienced that when families are on different calendars with their kids, often what happens is if a student is out of school for another district, if we don't align calendars and that school gets out early, oftentimes then our students don't get to school. We don't provide transportation. We're unable to at this time. And so parents have to bring students. And if their other children are out, often that leaves a gap for our kiddos where parents end up keeping them home as well. So it becomes a struggle when kids have to be on different calendars.
Well, thank you. I believe what I heard you say is that conceptually, that change will be a good one. I was just wondering if there was any particular feedback or surveys that you received from your families to support
No,
that.
there wasn't.
Okay.
Other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we accept the waiver requested by Hope Academy of Northwest Arkansas regarding uniform dates. Sorry, for the beginning and end of the school year.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, so I have a motion from Dr. Moore and a second from Mr. Baldwin. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion passes. Give us just a minute to fill out our voting sheets, and then we'll be right back with you.
Thank you so much.
Start with Dr. Moore.
I vote to approve the waiver request of Hope Academy of Northwest Arkansas to amend the school calendar to better align with other school calendars in the area and meet the needs of the students and families served.
Mr. Baldwin.
Yes, I voted in favor of this requested change that allows Hope Academy to match the Bentonville School District calendar.
Mr. Davis.
I voted for to help better serve students and families in the region. Support the motion to align calendar with the neighboring school district.
Mr. Scott.
I voted for the amendment request for Hope Academy of Northwest Arkansas because it sets the stage for continued supportive engagement of the families they serve.
And I voted for the motion to allow for an earlier start date to ensure students and families receive the most comprehensive set of services and aligned calendar with local school districts. Congratulations. Thank you very
Thank you.
much. All right, Ms. Summons.
Okay. Next, we have Friendship Aspire Academy of North Little Rock. They're requesting to change the grade level served from grades K-5 to grades K through 3. And we have Dr. Simmons here with her staff representing Friendship.
Thank you. Will all those who plan on speaking on behalf of the charter please stand and raise your right hand?
Just in case.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about
I think you was coming
Yes.
in.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you very much. You may
Thank
begin.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Denise Simmons. I'm the superintendent of Friendship Aspire Academy, Arkansas. I am standing before you today to request that we change our Friendship North Little Rock campus from a K-5 campus to a K-3 campus. We're excited about news that we received from DESE on the 13th, stating that our accountability monitoring, that we have no caps and no findings. So I'll just read this, the line that's the best to me. It says, the Friendship Aspire Academies Arkansas was chosen to be monitored in the 2023-2024 school cycle, and there are no findings. There is no further action required by the district at this time. So with that being said, I'm sorry? Oh, thank you. So with that being said, I want to talk to you just a little bit about our North Little Rock campus. The mission of the campus is to prepare students with academic and social emotional skills necessary to succeed in college, career, and life. Our motto at Friendship is everyone grows, which means not only our students, but also our faculty and our staff. We're excited to have the North Little Rock campus join us. That is actually a campus that came to us from Lighthouse. And the campus, the students are growing, they're thriving. The merger the takeover took place July 1st, 2023. And our campus, the issue that we're having is that the campus is, I don't want to say landlocked, but it was built on a floodplain. So I don't know if you've been here for years, but there was a flood out there that flooded up the whole library, and it had to be torn down. So we're growing and expanding at that school, especially at our K-3 grade levels. So we have no room to grow out and expand or build any more buildings. So we're asking for a waiver so that we can move some of our students, actually bus them, to our Little Rock campus, which actually has some opportunities for enrollment. So there's room for our kids there, and we'll use our own buses, so there will be no additional cost. The campus is housed in a high poverty area, and what we're looking at doing is changing that school into an early learning center with a STEM focus. So all the campuses in Friendship will be STEM focused beginning next school year. So I think that's going to be great for those families because it's going to make an impactful economic change. I'm just going to give you just a little bit. So the median income in that area is actually $49,166. And the research shows that students in high poverty neighborhoods benefit from educational opportunities like this early learning center that we're prescribing. We have another campus down in Pine Bluff, our downtown campus, that is actually a K-3 campus, and it's also in a high poverty area, and it's thriving. At that school, we always have a wait list for students to get in. So that means that we're doing well and the scores show it. The North Little Rock campus, since it has been taken over by Friendship Aspire, has gone through several renovations. The entire building has been completely renovated. If you saw it before and you come and see it now, it looks like night and day. We're day. So the campus, the teachers are excited about their classrooms. They're excited about having a dedicated space for related services. The offices in the front of the building have been maintained. They've been updated. And there's also a, what do you call it? The room where the meeting room. So they're excited about that. Apparently, when they were with the other school, they did not have a meeting room or conference room. So they're excited about that. We also provide support, and I did poll the teachers and the staff, and also spoke with parents during our Title I meeting about their thoughts as it related to how we were doing so far as a district taking over that campus. And the parents were extremely excited. We had the Title I meeting where we had over 80% of the parents participate. And I was actually pleasantly surprised because it was during lunchtime. So that was great. And I talked to them about some of the proposed changes that we have coming down the pike, and they were extremely excited. We have the teachers who gave me feedback on what they liked most about being taken over by Friendship. And one of the things they said is the support that we provide them, professional development, the content specialist, the whole parental involvement piece. Thank you, Mr. Young. The new technology that we brought into the schools, they have Promethean boards. All the kids have brand new Chromebooks. The teachers have laptops. So they have all the things that they need to highly impact learning. I talked a little bit about the designated spaces already, and they are working out very well. So our amendment request is to change the grade configuration at North Little Rock Elementary from K-5 to K-3. That's going to increase our enrollment in those early grades. And then since we're space challenged, as I stated before, we're unable to put portables out there. We're unable to build any additional learning spaces. So we're proposing to move students to the Garland Elementary and Garland Middle campus. And again, we want to turn that school into an early learning center to benefit the neighborhood. There are several benefits to early learning centers, and I did put that in my presentation, so I hope that you all have it. I'll just name just a couple. Improve school readiness. When we start working with those kids when they're younger ages, when they get to middle school, then those kids are already literate, so we don't have to go back and try to hire literacy coaches to teach kids who are in 5th and 6th grade how to read, because they've already learned. And I've seen that with my own eyes at our downtown campus. First day of school, I went in and those kids were blending. I was astonished. Parental support will be increased because most parents really provide a lot of support to their kids when they're real young. So we want to start that training and keep it going, just keep the flow all the way through middle school and then, of course, high school. And then reduction in future crime and delinquency. My students in the North Little Rock area and high crime area, the police are around often, not necessarily for our school or our students, but they're around pretty often. So if we can educate them, we can help change that whole area, that whole populace. So on our numbers, currently at the North Little Rock campus, we have 125 students. So as you can see, it's not a very large campus. What we're proposing to do is move our current 3rd graders to Friendship Little Rock Elementary as 4th graders. And then the same for the other grade levels as they matriculate up. Our current 5th graders will then go to our Garland Middle campus, which is on the same grounds as the Garland Elementary School. So our kids can ride the bus together. They'll arrive at the North Little Rock campus, which will be their home base. They'll have breakfast, they'll get on their bus, they'll go over to the Little Rock campus, they'll receive all of their instruction and lunch, of course, snacks for their ride back home. They'll ride back and their parents will pick them up from our North Little Rock campus. So in closing, early learning centers in high poverty neighborhoods are vital in creating equitable opportunities. Our desire is to replicate the success of our school in downtown Pine Bluff. In Pine Bluff, the median income is actually $39,411, which is less than North Little Rock, and yet our students are striving. So we asked the panel to consider approving our request for our future scholars. Their lives lie in our hands. Are there any questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just a clarifying point, just to make sure that I understand correctly. You're not asking for a cap increase for either of these campuses?
We're not asking for what?
A cap increase enrollment?
No, we're not. We are not. We're not asking for any associated cost. Dr. Cheney, you want to speak?
Yeah. Questions? Mr. Scott?
So, a statement. I want, you started off with a statement about the fact that you're in good standing relative to there are no findings. And I want to commend you and the staff in making that happen.
Thank you.
It really wasn't an easy task on behalf of all of us at ADE at DESE to go after and work with you, but you did it. There was a deadline, and so you're to be commended for that effort.
Thank you, sir.
And it's not necessarily a concern, but better understanding the pathway of the quote-unquote older students that you're serving now, I appreciate you sharing that pathway, that current third graders have a plan to continue to get educated under your system,
Yes,
but at a different campus.
that's correct.
Same thing with the fourth, fifth graders, et cetera.
That's correct.
So my question really rests with, at the end of the day, it's the parents that are making a decision to support that because they have a choice to go to any school that they like. So share with us your data or evidence that I believe you spoke to the Title I meeting, 80% of your parents were attended. That's awesome. But just a little bit more clarity on the support of your parents in making this change.
Okay, well, we talked with the parents, as I stated before, about the potential of having our schools change. The faculty and staff are excited about it. Our parents, the ones who were in attendance, are excited, and I wanted to wait and send out a letter once we found out if it was going to be approved to the others. And then, of course, they'll have the option, but I've got a very strong feeling that they are going to be in support because they want their kids at our schools, and they realize that when they go in, because they have lots of parental engagement activities on the campus, so they can see how full that building is. We're using every nook and every cranny, and the parents are satisfied with the instruction that their students are receiving for Friendship.
Thank you.
Mr. Davis?
Just a couple of things. First of all, I'm very appreciative of you mentioning replicating the success in downtown Pine Bluff. And so it's very nice to hear that there are learnings that are happening at other places that you think are viable and important, and then trying to take those into your other environments and build on that. So I really appreciate you sort of mentioning that. I think you've done a great job of sort of explaining this. I just want to get some clarity. What's the enrollment cap on the campus right now?
The enrollment cap at, Dr. Cheney, you can help me out with that.
Roughly.
Over at North Little Rock?
Roughly, yeah.
It's about 150.
About 150?
Around there. Yes.
Okay, and does this now, is there currently, I mean, do you expect that, are you currently full at 150?
No, at this moment in time, we're not full yet.
Okay, what is the current enrollment?
We're at 125.
125, okay. And do you feel positive about the enrollment moving forward, considering this shift?
Yes, I mean, considering with everything that we've done to downtown as well, being that we shifted to a literacy, science, and reading model, it actually helped out, and a lot of parents felt that way because, as you know, reading is integral in everything.
Yeah.
So at this moment in time, being that school is where it's at, I think changing that to that science and reading model allows us to do what we need to do for kids as they matriculate to the next grade level.
Yeah, I love this clear focus on the literacy piece at a
Yes, sir.
very young age. We know that's the direction that,
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
we've
now
moved in
downtown,
as a state.
they've shown great results. This year, we're at the second grade. Next year, we'll have the third grade. And so far, using the NWA scores, the growth that the students had from the day one that we received them to now has been tremendous. And I think it actually helps. I mean, focusing on that in itself actually works. So.
And give me an understanding around how parents will be communicated with, what they should think about, particularly those that will be in the 4th and 5th grade. So they're coming
Sure.
to one campus, being bused to another.
Yes, sir.
I'm just wondering what that looks like in regards to communication
Sure.
for parents. If
I mean,
something happens on
yeah.
that second campus, I just want to make sure parents are really clear about where
Yep.
their student is.
I mean, we're gonna have a parental meeting, right after this to let them know. And those that choose to use the bus, we'll provide them with the time, the dates and routes, through, parental meetings, through, Class Dojo as well. And then that way they can be aware, I mean, we own our own buses. So we can go ahead and route and provide the time and the distance and all that to them so that they know what's to be expected next year. But that's what we're gonna do next. It's gonna be a parental meeting right after this, so then that way they know. And again, if they wanna go ahead and drive the kids to the school as well, that's also an option. But we want to make it as seamless as possible without the interruption. That's why that busing system, that's what we're gonna do.
Any idea on the additional time on bus between one campus to the next?
I don't have that time at this moment in time, but being that, North Little Rock and Little Rock isn't that far apart, I would expect, I can't quote you a
Yeah.
number at this moment in time, but it's not gonna be a long distance. And again, we can start at the school, where parents drop them off at the school, get them on the bus, and then just transport them straight to the Little Rock campus.
Okay, fantastic.
Excuse me. Joe Harris, can I just underscore, it's about 16 to 20 minutes
Okay.
distance. Parents have already responded favorably to the friendship model when we made the transition. We actually did this year a pilot program where every Tuesday and Wednesday, I believe, kids that have dyslexia have been going to a specialized program at another school. The response rate of parents having their kids picked up at that site and going and participating in programs at other friendship school has been phenomenal. And we expect that support to continue.
Sure, thanks a lot. No further questions from me.
Just one question about the bus ride, since we're kind of on
Okay.
that topic. What kinds of educational opportunities or instructional time might happen on the bus ride over?
So, we thought about that, and that's what we try to do down at our other schools too. We think about actually implementing, at this moment in time, they have like a router system, like a Wi-Fi system on the bus, that actually you can put on the bus, and then we give kids either an iPad, and then that way they can do IXL, they can do other types of learning while they're on the bus. And that's something that we've been working with. Originally, we wanted to go ahead and put the actual screen on the back seat of the bus, and then that way, it's not on the student's lap, but they can interact right in front of them. But that's something that we have to look at in regards to safety, and ensure that we can actually modify the seat. But that's what we're thinking about. And those 20 minutes, those 30 minutes, it actually makes up, especially IXL, Lexia
Yep.
learning, all that great stuff. But yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Bolton?
I had 5 questions, you all have answered 4, and I just want to say, really good job, and you've explained really well what you are trying to accomplish. So the only question I have left, and it's really just a clarifying question, the children that will be bused to the Little Rock School, how many kids will that be, and what is the student cap at the Little Rock School? Will you need to adjust that cap possibly?
So at this moment in time, it's actually 13 students that's going to be bused over. So, yeah. And was that your question?
The cap of enrollment at the Little Rock School?
Okay, the Little Rock School District, the cap over there, including the middle school, is about 600 students.
So you have plenty of room?
Yes, sir.
Maybe.
For
Yes,
13
sir.
kids?
Yes, sir.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Dr. Moore?
So thank you, and I reiterate what others have said. Great job on your presentation and on your performance that you've been able to document. I had several questions, and you've addressed many of them. A few that I still had, the cost of this, because cost of transportation is quite expensive, not even including if any additional screens or technology were to be used, but the cost to pay someone to drive the buses, the cost of the gas. So what does that look like in terms of the budget?
Sure. So the cost isn't extraordinary, being that we own our own buses. So at the end of the day, and plus we have drivers that we actually pay, so they're on staff anyway. So at this moment in time, it isn't an extra cost. The extra cost might be gas, but the bus is gas run. So it's not a diesel bus, it's a gas bus. So, and the distance between the two schools isn't that great. So, I mean, it's not gonna be a high cost, and it's within the budget. I mean, at Friendship, we operate within the guidelines, and we're physically sound. We've calculated the cost. Well, we haven't calculated the actual cost, but we calculated what it might cost, and it's within our budget.
Okay, because gas right now does cost
Yeah,
quite
I know.
a bit.
It's
so-
actually about $3 something, per gallon. At the end of the day, like Mr. Harris said before, we actually utilize the program to drive to a Momel school where the kids actually get dyslexia service for 2-3 days a week. And at the end of the day, that's still within reason. So being, the distance, which is approximately the same, Momel and the Little Rock campus, we don't foresee a huge amount of money being spent there.
Okay, thank you. And then just a few more additional questions. So a follow-up regarding the time on the bus, is that going to take away from the instructional time of the day, or are you adding to the length of the school day?
So no, so we're gonna actually ask the parents to drop them off. Like for example, our school starts at 8 o'clock. So we're gonna ask the parents to drop the students off at 7:15, about 7:15, give them that time, get them on the bus, and by the time they get served breakfast as well. And by the time they get to the Little Rock campus, it will be right on time for them to start school.
So parents that might have a child in 2nd grade and a child in 4th grade, they'll just drop them both off that
Yes,
early?
we have morning, we call before care, so they can drop before care as well, and then that way both students can be dropped off at the same time, and then one can go on the bus, and then the other one can go to before care at that school.
Okay. And I apologize, I just had several
No, you're
questions.
good. You're fine.
So additionally, so right now, when you are just the K-5 structure, what's your feeder? Like, who are you feeding into for middle school?
North Little Rock,
North Rock?
yeah, or our Garland campus middle school if they choose to go to our Garland campus middle school, but usually because it's in the North Little Rock area, parents feed to the North Little Rock School District.
Okay. And then you mentioned that you're gonna have a parent meeting coming up, that a few parents had been contacted. I'm just wondering, thinking about former years as a parent and the struggle of picking up a student for doctor's appointments, or if they were sick, have you had any feedback at all, or checked with parents on that yet?
Regarding that, I don't think we've had anything. Most of the time when parents do have doctor's appointments, they actually come and pick up the child or check them out. At this moment in time, no one has said anything regarding that. And again, going back to the model where we actually take our students to the dyslexia school, same thing, that we haven't had any issues. Actually, parents said that they want to leave them there. They don't want to take them back. But, because that's such a great program. But at this moment in time, we haven't had any issues regarding that.
Okay, because I was just thinking if you're describing a low-income area where transportation may be a barrier, if a student gets sick in the middle of the day, that the parent may really struggle to drive and pick them up. So I was just wondering, like, how that would work.
And if we need to, we're looking at a van, a 15-passenger van as well. If we need to, then we can go ahead and transport that student back to the North Little Rock campus, and the parents can pick them up there as well, if that's the case.
In addition to that, we have nurses on both campuses.
Yeah. So we'll be accommodating as possible. We've got a lot of transportation, different types of transportations that we can utilize to ensure that that gets taken care of if the need arises.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Mr. Scott?
Yes, I do have, just wondering, from a strategic standpoint, we appreciate what you're doing tactically in regards to handling because of the flood from a building perspective. Strategically, could you speak to your plans for a few years out? Is there a plan strategically to address a facility to accommodate these middle school ages?
Are we getting to do this?
Yes. Part of our strategy when we talked to this body and we talked about absorbing the lighthouse, we'd always envisioned that school remaining a elementary school level. Right now, there are no direct plans to expand on that property because of the issue of the flood. I think everybody remembers that it actually Lighthouse had to come back and amend their charter because they had to eliminate the 6th and 8th grade. So we envision strategically that that school will remain a elementary school, focus on the lower grades, at least for the next 5 years. What we would like to do is begin to think outside of the box. And in my capacity as CEO, we're looking at, like so many other schools, as how we can really reinforce STEM into our technology. So that school will not only be a school strategically, and we're thinking down the road, will also have a STEM focus. So it will be an innovative early education model that will introduce kids to technology beginning in kindergarten. That's why we want to concentrate it on K-3, ensuring kids get the fundamentals of reading, writing, and math, but also introduce STEM. And so over the years, you're going to hear Friendship talk about how we're infusing STEM into our curriculum. That school in itself is going to be one of the model schools for STEM, how you use STEM in an early education model. So that's our strategic plan. Facility-wise, we don't have any immediate plans to expand out the building. It's, if you don't know, it's 10 classrooms, 1 long hallway, 1 single building, and behind that is the flood zone and the play area. There is space in the front, in the round kind of driveway area, but we don't have any plans to expand that. In fact, we're gonna probably use the front of the school more for outdoor classrooms and more outdoor kind of learning. That is the only kind of usable space right now on the lot.
Thank you. I was leveraging your past experience and actually coming in and servicing communities that are challenged. And in many cases, whether or not it's Little Rock or Pine Bluff, you've come in and actually done some wonderful things for some of the facilities. So that's why that was the genesis of the question, thinking around what you may be doing strategically. My last comment is that because of your mission to serve in those kind of communities, as you realize successes, I'd encourage you to continue to document that, but also document your challenges as well, so that we have a better understanding of how appropriate solutions could be mapped.
Okay. To your point, I would like to submit to this body as a supplemental a pilot report findings that we did on the kids at North Little Rock and at Garland that we took over to the Maumelle Friendship Aspire Lab School for Dyslexia. They went 2 days a week for what's called executive functioning training. We didn't disrupt their education. They actually got their core classes at that school, but they also participated in the executive functioning program. The findings were phenomenal in just the pilot program. Kids will continue at this North Little Rock as well as our Garland to participate in that kind of supplemental and supportive program for kids that need additional reading supports, as well as those that have been defined as having symptoms of dyslexia. So we're trying to, introduce and be a community partner. We envision, if parents choose not to have their kids continue in the 4th and 5th grade in the friendship model, that the kids that go into 4th and 5th grade to the district schools or other schools will be prepared to and be at grade level and be exceptional students that'll go to any school in the area that parents choose. And we're already seeing evidence of that in Pine Bluff, the partnership school that we have with the library, our K-3 school. Those kids are thriving and are going to shift kind of what it means to be a 4th and 5th grader in education in the public school system. So we're excited about that.
Thank you.
And I think the report would be something this body would be interested in reviewing. So if you would like to send that to Ms. Summons, we'd appreciate it. Yeah. Mr. Davis,
Nothing.
any questions on this end?
I do have an additional clarifying
Dr.
question,
Moore.
and you may have addressed this, and I apologize if I missed it. Just thinking about, so I get that your current students that are in 3rd, 4th, or 5th, how they're gonna be served. So if someone in the community who was not already part of Friendship in North Little Rock, if they had a student going into 4th grade this coming year, could they come to you and apply to be part of your charter and get that transportation? over to the other campus? Cause I could see that, oh man, I really want my kid in here, but I can't drive them over to Little Rock every day.
Most definitely. Being an
Okay.
open enrollment school, we do that. So if a new parent does come in, regardless whether it's fourth or fifth grade, that's most definitely an option. We're not going to shut that down.
We welcome them.
Okay, great. Because transportation's often the challenge with charter,
Yeah,
so
most definitely.
thank you. I appreciate you addressing that.
Thank you. Any final comments or questions? All right, if not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we support the request to change the current grade levels at Friendship Aspire North Little Rock from K-5 to grades K-3.
Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
Okay. I have a motion from Mr. Davis and a second from Dr. Moore. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Give us just a minute to fill out our voting sheets.
Thank you.
We'll start with Dr. Moore.
I vote to approve Friendship Aspire's request to amend the grade configuration at their North Little Rock Elementary campus from K-5 to K-3. Their well-thought-out plan for providing alternative options for students in grades 4 through 6 demonstrates that students will continue to be served. I do recommend purposeful use of transportation time to increase student learning.
Mr. Baldwin?
Yes, I voted to support the Friendship Aspire amendment request to adjust grade levels served between locations. I believe this plan, as you all have created, is very creative, better utilizes existing buildings, and maintains the integrity of the educational experience for children.
Mr. Davis?
I voted for in order to expand on the success of documented performance in the K-3 model of downtown Pine Bluff campus and a focused approach to improve literacy for students, I support the motion to change the campus designation from K-5 to K-3.
Mr. Scott?
I voted for the amendment request of Friendship Aspire to change the grade level served at its North Little Rock campus from K-5 to K-3 because of the commitment to support and resources for the academic success of children and families, leveraging an increased interest in literacy and STEM.
And I voted for the amendment to change the grade band from K-5 to K-3. The strategic plan allows for innovative methodologies to best serve students and prepare them for the future. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
A 10 o'clock meeting that I may have to step out for,
Okay.
so.
Ms. Summons?
Okay, the last school on our agenda is East Stem Public Charter School, and they're requesting to change the grade level served from grades 7 through 9, which is considered junior high, and grades 10 through 12, which is considered high school, to grades 7 and 8 junior high, and grades 9 through 12 high school. And we do have Ms. Forrester here who will be speaking on behalf of East Stem.
Thank you. Will all those who plan on speaking on behalf of the charter please stand and raise your right hand? Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? All right, you may begin.
Good morning. I'm Jessie Forrester. I'm the Executive Director of Operations for East Stem Public Charter School. Feel like I was just here with you guys. East Stem Public Charter Schools is requesting your approval for the reconfiguration of our current junior high campuses and our high school campus. Currently, we have 2 junior high campuses, Downtown Junior High and East Village Junior High, both serving students in grades 7 through 9. Our high school campus, East Stem High School, currently serves students in grades 10 through 12. To best serve our students and families, we would like to merge our junior high campuses to serve all students in grades 7 and 8 at one location, the current Downtown Junior High. This scenario will allow our high school to serve students in grades 9 through 12. And to provide this opportunity for our 9th grade students, the current East Village Junior High campus will become a freshman academy. This restructuring would allow us to provide unique opportunities for students that are specific to their needs and development. It will also support our students and schools to increase academic achievement. We will align more closely with the new accountability framework, which will allow our students' growth and achievement scores to more accurately represent our school's letter grades and success. This will also allow us to focus on that transition to high school, providing a supportive environment for freshman students to adjust to the academic rigor, social dynamics, and expectations of high school. We will be able to provide our freshman students smaller classes to receive personalized attention from teachers and staff. This will allow teachers to build relationships with students in order to best help them meet their needs, which will increase their engagement and success as they continue through high school. We will be able to tailor our curriculum and course offerings, both at the junior high for our 7th and 8th grade and at our freshman academy for our 9th graders. These ages of students have specific needs, and by having a more focused environment, we will be able to address those needs, whether it's in our course offerings, targeted support and intervention, and in the development of their social, emotional, and foundational skills they need to be successful in high school and beyond. This restructuring also allows us to utilize our staff and resources more effectively and responsibly. By serving our 7th through 9th graders across 2 campuses like we do now, we're not utilizing our staff in the most effective way possible. This change will allow us to be fiscally responsible while meeting the needs of our students. In addition to the academic benefits and opportunities, this restructuring will also support student recruitment and retention. In our expansion, we moved our 9th grade to our junior high campuses, which is different than the majority of districts in this area. Over the last 4 years, we have lost an average of 30% of our 8th grade students as they prepare to move to 9th grade and would prefer to be a part of a high school environment. Our freshman academy will provide a unique environment and setting for our 9th grade students that allows them to be a part of high school while still addressing their specific needs. We believe this will be a powerful recruiting tool as well to offer 9th grade students and families a setting that prepares them for success as they continue their education. We are excited about the innovative opportunities that we will be able to provide both at our downtown junior high and at our freshman academies, programs that focus on the foundational skills needed for students of this age, as well as positive behavior incentives and systems that speak to these students. These opportunities can be designed with specific developmental needs for these age groups and also increase the attendance and engagement for students. We can provide early exposure to college and career opportunities and introduce CTE pathways at an earlier age to prepare students for whatever path they choose. These courses and curriculum can be focused on student interest and also introduce them to new possibilities. With the importance of service learning and the new requirements for students, we'll be able to create meaningful service learning opportunities that will resonate with students at each level and allow them to see the importance of giving back to their community. Finally, we can build upon our community partnerships to help support the needs of our families and provide experiences for our students. We are excited about this proposed restructuring and the opportunities for our students, our families, and our organization, and we request your approval to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Scott, do you have any questions?
So, hi Jesse.
Hi.
A current 8th grader, upon approval, will now be facing high school. Help me understand preparation for just the mindset of that 8th grader now that before thought they would stay in junior high and now excited or challenged to face high school. Help me understand.
Yeah, so I feel like this restructuring provides kind of the best of both worlds. We get a lot of feedback from 8th to 9th grade students that they are ready to move on from 7th and 8th graders and to be a part of the high school and be, you know, a little bit older and more incentives and opportunities. So I think that this freshman academy will not only give them an experience that's different from junior high as they're ready to move on to high school, but it will also allow us to put in some programs that really build those foundational skills, especially since our high school's on UALR's campus, even though it is its own building there and they don't necessarily have to have a lot of interaction, but it does provide us with some opportunities to prepare them for life when they get to that campus.
Okay, thank you. Just one other question.
Yeah.
You mentioned community partnerships. Could you help us understand how that, the landscape of the partners
Yeah,
is?
sure. So, for example, we have a partnership with like Rock Region Metro. We think that this will help us if there are any transportation needs for families at different campuses to help us provide ways for them that doesn't inconvenience the parents. In addition, we partner with some programs that provide not only professional development for our teachers, but help them to understand trauma-informed practices and come in and speak to students and provide those resources to students who may have areas of need in that area.
Thank you.
Mr. Davis?
Is there an expectation that your 9th grade will grow? Or I know you mentioned being smaller, more tailored. So is the thinking that the number of 9th grade students served will remain the same, although they're on their own campus? This allows them to have smaller classrooms, smaller settings, or do you expect that 9th grade will grow, then funneling into your 10 through 12?
Right now, we're losing, 30% of those students, so we're hoping to maintain
Okay.
the students that we have, and there is a little bit of room for growth there, but to continue to keep it in a smaller environment there.
Okay. And then, first of all, I love the thinking around the transition point, such a critical transition point. So I really like the thinking there. Can you talk a little bit about, you mentioned financial alignment, and what are some of the expectations in regards to the finances or the shifting that you think you may see, either to help save some money or invest in a better way, or just we're going to have to think about these 3 things or 4 things differently when it comes to the financial impact?
Right. So right now, having both of our junior high campuses and being able to provide, an equitable experience for both sets of students, we're staffing about the same amount at both places, but with one school having about 100 students less, we aren't able to really maximize that staffing. And so we feel that by combining the 7th and 8th grade, we aren't losing a lot of our staff. They'll move with them, but we'll be able to maximize them there with still having a good student to teacher ratio. So that, and then our use of our facilities, we feel like that this will be a better use of our East Village campus and provide some opportunities for different therapists to be on site in our schools and some different things like that.
Last question for me, because I am kind of enthralled around this idea of the 9th grade academy. Or have you all started to have conversations about, what a student leaving 9th grade should have, or what a 9th grade academy student should ensure, the type of student they are? You talked about the service projects. So there's just a lot there that I think, you may have already developed. I would encourage you to continue to develop that. I think from a community standpoint, it builds a lot of belonging, and I think it has some really I have some, high expectations, but I think it also can provide some tremendous opportunity there. Have you all talked a little bit about that?
We have started having those conversations. I think by this realignment, it will allow our school leaders to be more a part of that, and so that our students are really getting that same experience. So when they're leaving 8th grade, we know what they need to come to this freshman academy and start to prepare, and then our high school teachers and leaders can be really a part of the planning of that process at the freshman academy, to know and be assured that when they're leaving 9th grade and they're about to step on to our high school at UALR's campus, that they'll be ready, whether it's, social and emotional skills, study skills, different things like that, kind of beyond just the books and academics, that they'll be ready, and we can really align that better in our secondary campuses this way.
Thank you.
Mr. Baldwin?
So it's really just 2 questions. A lot of moving kids here, it sounds like, with junior high going to one building, so there'll be students moving from a building to a new building, and then 9th graders becoming high school students. And I know you all have thought a lot about all this, and the plan makes sense to me from a school perspective. Talk to us a little bit about maybe the biggest challenges that you all are looking at as it relates to the experience of the child. So what are the 2 or 3 things you all are going to make sure happens right for the kids?
Right. So that relocation will be a big opportunity and challenge, but with the campuses that those students will be attending, they're 1 to 2 miles away. So we think for parents who maybe will have to drop a student off at 3 campuses, that doesn't affect very many parents as we've looked at our families. But for those that do, looking at possible staggering of start times and end times to accommodate that. And luckily that they are so close together, it won't prevent a huge obstacle for parents. That, and then just in staffing and really looking at what we need to be offering our 7th and 8th graders as far as electives and different courses, and then what really needs to be a part of that freshman academy to prepare them for high school, so that we know whether it's maybe they're getting computer science at 9th grade. And so we know when they're moving on to 10th through 12th, we have that requirement covered, and we can move on to kind of higher level of courses. So aligning that vertically, I think, is going to be an opportunity and something that will really pull in school leaders to help us think through, but a way to meet those needs, whereas now it hasn't been as thought out. So we're hoping that that will really solve that problem.
Thank you. Any other questions? Mr. Reynolds, do we have a quorum? Do we have a quorum? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're good. Okay, just double checking with you.
Thank goodness.
All right, so if there are no other questions, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the amendment request as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion by Mr. Baldwin and a second by Mr. Scott. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Give us just a minute to fill out our voting sheets. Start with Mr. Baldwin.
Okay, yes, thank you. Yes, I voted in favor of the amendment request to consolidate junior high buildings from 2 to 1 and to include 9th grade students into the high school. I think this change will streamline school operations, improve efficiency, and will also provide expanded educational opportunities for students.
Thank you. Mr. Davis?
I voted for in order to provide a focus on high school transition, smaller classes for freshmen, and the opportunity to provide a tailored curriculum and support. I support the motion to change the campus designations.
Thank you. Mr. Scott?
I voted for the amendment request of East Elm Academy to change its grade level served because of the impact it will have on increased academic performance and career opportunities for life success of their scholars.
And then I voted for the amendment to change the grade bands to 7, 8, 9, And 10-12, I believe the transition space that will occur in the 9th grade academy will aid in retention and student growth. So congratulations. All right, is there any new business? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, we are adjourned.